but my prediction is that I will finish this somewhere around Easter. Hi everyone, it's been a long time since I've made a video. I'm sorry for not being able to keep my promise about making this video in April. But trust me, I've been working on this since September of last year. Still, that doesn't excuse that I was 2 months late to the deadline, bruh. I'm gonna talk about this more in the end of the video, but right now, let's just focus on this video. So as you can tell from the intro, I managed to beat 2 extreme demons, even though I suck at this game. If you're wondering, my 2 previous hardests are Bloodbath, which took me over 11,000 attempts, and Down Bass, which I spent almost 13,000 attempts beating. You can tell that it's pretty hard for me to beat extremes in GD just from that. So now, let me tell you the story of how I beat 2 levels that are even harder, starting from Disaster Dive. It's September 2024, school is around the corner and I just published a new video. That's when I had an idea. What if I beat 2 pretty difficult levels in GD back to back and then make a video out of it? And so I went searching for some difficult extreme demons until I found one that I wanted to beat. Disaster Dive. At the time, this level was about 370 on the all-rated demon list, and considering my hardest was Bloodbath, this was a pretty big jump in difficulty. But I still wanted to play this level because I liked the design and also the song, so I started to practice it quite a lot. Now, unfortunately, the earliest footage I have of me playing this level is from October, so I didn't record for a whole month. But you're not missing out on anything. I was only playing on practice mode. In this specific video, I managed to reach 49% in this level.
What the hell, boy?
Sorry for what you had to hear, LOL. But anyways, progress at first seemed pretty quick, as it only took me a month to complete the first half of the level. That sounds like slow progress, but keep in mind that this extreme is 180 spots above my previous hardest. However, here's where things get kind of tricky.
Wait a minute.
I said that the earliest clip I have of me playing this level is from October, but the second earliest is from December. I don't even remember what happened to the videos in between, if I deleted them or if I just didn't clip them, but unfortunately we have to continue from this part. December was the month where I grinded this level the most, and with winter break I started to play this level every day. This is the second earliest clip of me beating this extreme, where I already have 92%, but it took me the entirety of October and November to reach this part, with a lot of deaths along the way. I did a lot of practice runs from 0 to 20, 20 to 40, 40 to 60, etc. But I also tried to beat the level in fewer runs, for example from 20 to 60, and then 60 to 100. I did that many times, while also trying to beat this extreme from 0 on normal mode. After a lot of grinding, I started completing practice runs in less attempts, and I also got more consistent with the level, having better attempts where I die in later parts than towards the beginning. However, there was a part in the level which absolutely destroyed me. It was torture, because just when I thought I was about to beat this demon, I died to that same part. I'm talking about the wave in 92%. I died there so many times I literally wanted to jump off a building. Here's a compilation of me dying in 92%, just so you understand the severity of the situation.
Oh my god.
And just when I thought things couldn't get any worse, this happened.
What the f?
I felt absolutely defeated. After that fail, I stopped playing for a couple of days just to take a break from all the stress I went through. It felt like I would never complete this level no matter how hard I tried. After not playing for a few days, I decided to give this level one more shot. And well, it paid off. On January 6, 2025, this happened.
An earthquake is the perceptible shaking of the surface of the Earth, which can be violent enough to destroy major buildings and kill thousands of people. The severity of the shaking can be barely felt or violent enough to toss people around. People often confuse earthquakes for Eminem gigs, but that's okay.
Well, I did it.
Good luck.
Doesn't matter, I still beat it, and it took me a total of almost 16,000 attempts. That's actually less than I expected, but still a lot, of course. While I do like the deco and the song, I wasn't a fan of that gameplay, especially the 92 part, bruh. That's why I rated it a 4 out of 10 on the enjoyment rating. It's my opinion. Go cancel me if you want. But that's where my journey of beating Disaster Dive ends, and with the confidence boost that I got from beating this level, I went straight to Synthwave the same day. Now, Synthwave, when I beat Disaster Dive, was 233 on the all-rated extreme list, so it was another big jump for my skill level. When I beat Disaster Dive, I already had almost 5,000 attempts on Synthwave, so I wasn't completely new to the level. But even with that attempt count, I still could barely even understand this demon. So it already seemed like it was going to take me way longer to beat Synthwave, compared to any other demon I've beaten in this game. I started with doing as many practice runs as I can, just to get used to every section on this extreme and build muscle memory. After 2 weeks of doing the same thing, I started to notice small improvements, as I could do runs in less attempts, but I already had nearly 10,000 attempts, and I was nowhere near beating this level yet. But I didn't give up. I spent the entirety of January just playing this level on practice mode, and only on the last few days I tried to go from 0 on normal mode. I managed to get 13%. After that, I managed to reach the drop, dying at 34%. And lastly, I died at 44%. So to recap, I had some pretty noticeable progress in January. managing to beat over 1/3 of the level, but it was really obvious that I was going to need to put in way more effort to progress even further. Something off topic. When February began, while playing Synthwave, I realized that this video will have a ton of copyright claims since I used many copyrighted songs. So I thought, why not go out with a bang? And that's when I discovered this amazing mashup of Synthwave. And so that's how the Gangnam Wave era began. I started February off with over 13,000 attempts, almost reaching the same amount of attempts it took me to beat Disaster Dive. I did harder runs of the level by putting less checkpoints, since in January I was doing only 10% runs, so this month I started doing 20% runs, slowly relying less and less on checkpoints. Of course though, we cannot have a completion without some rage moments. So here are some pretty cool times I slammed my desk or just mildly crashed out.
Boy, ain't no way, boy.
Huh?
With that out of the way, I managed to progress even more, getting 48% in the 7th of February. That doesn't mean that my progress was linear, however. Like, for example, the 14th was a pretty bad day. Not only did I spend my Valentine's Day alone once again, but I couldn't even have fun on my own. The struggle went on as I couldn't become consistent in any part of the level, having difficulty passing almost any section. My attempt count kept rising, and my hopes of beating this level started to disappear the more I tried beating this extreme. However, I kept going, and on the 17th of February, I finally had a breakthrough. Yeah, let's just say that I was back on the grind. With more motivation than ever, I kept grinding till the end of February, and I ended this month with a little over 17,000 attempts and 70% on this level. While it may seem like I'm progressing quickly, it's only because I played this level a lot, with little to no breaks in between.
Honorable mention.
Cool voice reveal, but that's enough. While I played a lot in January and February, unfortunately that's not the case for March. It was exam season for me, and this entire month I only had one recording, and it was just a practice run, but at least a really good one. Here's where the real chaos starts. With spring break coming in April, I was going to have a lot of free time on my hands. So of course that's why in my last video I said that this video will be finished by mid-April, but I didn't know what was waiting for me this month. With the promise that I had made, I instantly came back to this level when my spring break started. I did a ton of practice runs, slowly starting to go from 20% runs to 40% runs, basically going, for example, from 0 to 40, 40 to 60, and then 60 to 100. Of course, with less checkpoints, I had more difficulty doing runs in practice mode, but it was necessary for my improvement. With this method, I quickly surpassed 20,000 attempts on the level, making it obvious that I still had a long road ahead of me. But I didn't worry. I kept doing the same thing over and over, just doing 40% runs, but I also didn't stop the 20% runs, alternating from one to the other. I practiced a lot before playing in normal mode, so much so that most of my attempts are probably from practice mode. I started noticing some progress, dying at 71%, and then 72%. It sounds easy, but just look at how much I played at that time just to get a 1% best every time. However, in the 20th of April, something crazy happened. I died in 90%. While this death proved to me that I can definitely beat this level, after that death, I had mind block. I started dying in the same spot, multiple times. No matter how hard I tried, I just couldn't pass that part. And to make things worse, I started regressing. I couldn't even pass the first half of the level, even if I kept grinding non-stop. Also, my time ran out. In the end of April, I had over 25,000 attempts. I didn't just feel disappointed in myself, but I also felt like I disappointed you guys. With this newfound guilt, but also with school starting along with upcoming finals, I barely played in May and the beginning of June, only doing a few practice runs. I actually did 0 to 50 and then 50 to 100 runs, but I was too nervous to play on normal mode. However, with finals ending, I didn't have any other choice than to face my demons. And well, on June 16th, 2025, this happened. While I did fail, it felt like I was so close to beating this level, so I kept going. And well, the same day, it finally happened.
Oh my god. Oh. Oh, what the What the
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man.
I reacted that way because I couldn't even scream from all the nerves, okay? Anyway, this level took me over 30,000 attempts to beat. Literally twice of Disaster Dive. I rated a 6 out of 10, but only because it's an iconic level and because I like 9 Circles levels in general. Oh, by the way, I had something to say.
Never give up. This is proof that you can do anything you put your mind into.
Bruh.